Good day, people. This is Sharpino here. Welcome you guys to week 10 of the PMC League Battles. This week we are taking on the Oregon Duckletts. Best of luck to their coach there. If you want to go ahead and check out their channel, link for it will be in the description down below. This is going to become a very important match because we need to make sure that we win from here on out if we want to have a chance to make a placing in the cutoffs here. Okay, so we'll quickly have a look at his team here. Okay, so look at his team here. There are two Pokemon that we did not predict to bring. I'm sorry, it's a little bit rushed here. So the Slowbro and the Sork and the Magneton. So he didn't bring the Excadrill or the he didn't bring that or the Porygon 2. So I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, he might be a bit relieved now seeing that I don't have the Talonflame. But the reason why I didn't bring Talonflame was because I was really afraid of him having so many answers on his team. As I explained in the team builder, he just has so many different answers for my Talonflame. It just didn't feel like it was in my best interest to bring the Magneton. Sorry, the Talonflame here. So let's go ahead and put that there. Okay, so look at his team here. Something tells me he's going to try to open up with the Klefki. If he does, it's not really the worst thing that happened. I'm just trying to think what would be my best option. I go ahead and set up rocks with Uxie, which would be good. He doesn't have any stealth, he doesn't have any way of getting rid of rocks. So if I can go ahead and get that set up, that'd be great. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and start things off with Uxie. Best of luck to the Oregon Duckletts now. Worst case scenario, he does open up with the Tyranitar, which does mean that there's a potential for him to have the Pursuit trapping for the Uxie. And I've actually forgot to update my team as well, so I'll quickly go through and do that as we go along. So Carcass, which is the Klefki. So we made the right call in predicting him start with the Klefki. So I mean, we made a right call there. Let's go ahead and go for a Thunder Wave on here as I quickly go through this and edit my team as we go along. So as you guys would tell, obviously there's going to be a little bit of differences with, like I said, what it says here. This is from last week, so I didn't really have a chance to edit and all that, and you know, we're just here to do this battle, do the damn thing, you know. So really the only differences from my last team and this week is I'm putting the Suicune, Mega Sableye, and as we go. So I'm going to go to fire off the Thunder Wave here just to see what he wants to do. So he's going to go ahead and start with Spikes. So I have a feeling this is what he was going to do. He's going to try to go ahead and start Spikes on me. Which again, isn't the worst thing that happened, but the problem is, it is going to do a bit of damage to my, it's going to do a bit of damage to my Dragalge, which is something that I don't want to have happen to me. I'm going to go ahead and fire off the Stealth Rock of my own. And then once we go ahead and fire off the Stealth Rocks, he gets paralyzed though, so that's very nice. I do like that. I do like that a lot. We're going to go ahead and set up the Stealth Rocks now, so we've got one turn of, that's actually pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and set up a Fire Punch. I want to see how much damage a Fire Punch is going to do to a Klefki. So he's going to go ahead and set up Spikes. Again, not the best thing for my my Dragalge, but you know, it's not the worst thing that happened. That does a little bit of damage there, so, and we see the leftovers on there. So we're going to go ahead and add some notes here. So the Klefki, leftovers, and Spikes. So more likely he's just going to try to set up on us all day, which I mean, it's not uncommon to hear of. I'm just trying to think what would be in our best interest now, because I mean, he's probably going to just sit here all day and just do this. So I'm going to go ahead and fire for U-turn. I'm just trying to think what would be the best move. So he's going to go ahead and set up another Spikes here. Again, not the best thing. I'm going to go ahead and swap over the Aromatisse, because I do have one more Pokemon that's different, and that is the I don't remember, like I'm just a little bit rushed at the moment. So Spikes is 3 layers of Spikes is up. It's pretty bad. And the Celebi, that's the last one, the Celebi. Alright, so just trying to think here what I could do against this Pokemon. This Pokemon really is now starting to become a little bit annoying right now. There we go. Alright, so what my options are is I can try to go ahead and start setting up with Sableye, which actually wouldn't be the worst thing to happen, because what we could do is we can try to set up for Calm Minds, even though we're taking a little damage from the Spikes and everything else, which is go figure. Sure, we should be able to outspeed the Klefki. So we're going to go ahead, fire off a Mega Evolution Calm Mind. We should be able to leave one Moonblast from the Klefki. Pretty sure we should. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to set up with the Mega Sableye, and because we are speed, you know, we should be able to do some work against this team here. Just trying to think though what else he could do though. He's going to go for Dazzling Gleam, so that's kind of expected. He's going to do a little bit of damage there, so he's going to go ahead and get the leftovers recovery, which I mean isn't too bad, but what we can try to do is we can try and go ahead and fire for recover. So let's go ahead, fire for recover. We should be able to outspeed. So what we could do is try to hope for one turn of paralysis, which would actually work out for us pretty well. We should be able to outspeed this Klefki here, but I think maybe he's realizing what we're trying to do here. So he's going to go ahead and swap out now. Probably going to swap into Tyranitar. So I don't think it would have any kind of moves there that would really do too much damage to us, but I think he's just trying to get rid of the Mega Sableye here. So I'm going to go ahead, fire for recover. Probably should have gone, I mean, I could have gone for Will-O-Wisp, but that'd be a bit too too dicey. Unless that's a special, I mean, he wouldn't bring the special attacking, that wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and fire for Will-O-Wisp on this Tyranitar here. Obviously he's got some sort of plan in the works. He's going to go ahead and fire for Crunch. We should be able to eat this up pretty well. We are bold natured, so 134 to 83. So we actually ate that up pretty well. So we go ahead and fire off the burn. That's fantastic. Great job there. But he's got the Lumberry. That Lumberry. So he had a backup plan for the Will-O-Wisp there. So yeah, not bad. You know, he came with the plan, which is good. I'm just trying to think though what I could do now, because now with his, I mean, we've seen the Lumberry. He's going to go for Crunch, and we do know that. What can we do? What can we do? This is a little bit frustrating because I could go for a recover, but if he gets a crit, we're in bad shape right here. That's the only thing here. We pretty much throw caution to the wind with the Mega Sableye here. So I'm going to go ahead. He's going to swap out now. He probably expected us to swap. Bring in the Charizard now. So we're going to see that rocks damage come through, and we're going to go ahead, fire for recover. So that worked out fantastic for us that we stayed in. So he gave us a free turn recover, which is, like I said, fantastic. He's going to take that damage though. Now I don't know. I'm pretty sure. He's going to Mega Evolve right now. I'm pretty sure we should be able to live a plus. Well, I mean, we're +1 special defense. We should be able to live a +1 Flamethrower. If he has Fire Blast, there's a chance we might not be able to live it. But we'll go ahead and see what this Mega Charizard wants to do here. So he's going to go ahead. If he goes for Roost, that'll be interesting. So the sun's up now. He's going to go straight for a Roost. So that's fine for us, because basically we could have gone for an extra Carmine just to try and make sure we live another hit. But we're going to go ahead and go for a Dark Pulse here. That's how much damage it does to the Charizard here. It doesn't even do 50%. So that's actually pretty bad for us. So I'm just trying to think what our options are. We could go ahead and swap into Dragougi, but Dragougi really is our answer to this this Charizard here. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to swap into the Dragougi here. Now, unfortunately, because we've got the spikes up there, it's really going to hurt the Dragougi quite a bit. So hopefully we could live some hits from this Charizard here. So he's going to go ahead and go for a Flamethrower here, and we eat that up very well. So what my options are now is I can go ahead and do one of two things. I can either go for a Hydro Pump, or I can go for a Sludge Wave. More likely Sludge Wave will get the kill on this Charizard, but if he goes ahead and predicts a Sludge Wave and swaps into Magneton, that's pretty bad for us. So I'm just torn, because he also might have Dragon Pulse. That's the other move that he might have as well. I'm just going to go ahead and fire for Sludge Wave here, predicting him to stay in to try and go for a Dragon Pulse. We should be able to live it. If he goes for Magneton though, that is pretty bad, because it just means that he got a free swap into the Magneton. Or even the Klefki. I don't even know, looking at that now, I don't really understand why I did that. But if he swaps out Charizard now, he pretty much brings it in on like very little health. So he pretty much is either forced to give it up, or he's forced to roost on the first turn if he wants to keep it. So I don't know whether that was in our best interest to do what we just did, and I'm hoping that it doesn't come back to bite us. But if he goes ahead and swaps into Klefki, probably should have gone for Substitute, but I didn't know what to do with this Charizard here, so he's going to go for the Earthquake here. Okay, this Charizard is got the Earthquake here, and that's going to get the kill on us. So that's wow. Okay, so this guy's got some tech here. Okay, so fuck. Earthquake. I think freaking Bird was talking about that during the chat. Fucking hell, man. He's just giving him that idea. Alright, what do? I could swap into Krookodiles, but I don't want to. What am I gonna do? What am I going to do? You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and bring the Suicune here. I'm gonna bring in Suicune, and I'm gonna predict him to go for the Solar Beam. Now, the reason why I predict him to go for the Solar Beam is a number of reasons for this. If he goes for the Solar Beam, we are Assault Vested, but we do have Mirror Coat, so we should be able to live a Solar Beam from this here. So I'm going to go ahead and fire off a Mirror Coat, expecting him to go for the Solar Beam. So there's the Solar Beam right there. He's going to absorb that light there. So we kind of predict that we should be able to live it. We are Assault Vested, so we do live that. Super effective. Mirror Coat comes through, and Charizard is gone. So the Mega Charizard goes down, so fantastic. I don't know if we could have done the same job with the Skull, but I just had to pretty much just make the best of the situation, which is just that. Alright, so now we've got rid of the Mega Charizard. That's good. We've got to keep in mind though that the sun is still up, so all water attacks are not going to do as much. So, unless he brings in the Tyranitar, he might be able to do some work against us. So far we've lost Dragalge, he's lost the Mega Charizard, so we still have our Mega, but it's just a little bit, the situation's a little bit dicey, because the Klefki and the Magneton, being the Steel types, I mean, now that Dragalge is gone, I mean, it's not really much of an issue, but now looking at this, now he has no ground immunity. So, I mean, that's good for us because now we can just go for a Choice Scarf, Earthquake, Moxie Sweep, possibly. So he's going to go ahead and bring in the Magneton now, and I'm just trying to think, is he going to, I mean, Volt Switch just reeks of Volt Switch. Honestly, Volt Switch just seems way too obvious right now. He might just either go for the Flash Cannon, or he might go for something else. I just don't know what I should do. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in... If he goes for Signal Beam, I'm pretty fucked. Because I do know Magneton and Magnezone do get access to Signal Beam. What can Suicune do to the rest of his team? I mean, it can do some work against the Tyranitar. Maybe against the Stalk as well. The Stalk will probably outspeed it. I'm just trying to think, is it in our best interest? Because if he brings in Slowbro, Earthquake is going to do next to nothing against it. And I know that Saw could just pretty much just scare it out. So, geez. Seriously, the potential is so high. I want to go ahead and swap into Krookodile, expecting him to go for the Volt Switch. Because more likely he'll try to get the initiative on me with this here. So we're going to go ahead, swap into the Krookodile, expecting him to go for Thunderbolt or Volt Switch. So we do take some damage there. He's going to go ahead, fire off the Volt Switch. Fantastic, great. Sunlight's faded, don't think that really mattered, but we're going to go ahead now. So now what we can do is we can do one of two things. We can either, this is where things get interesting. We can expect the double swap into the Slowbro and go for a Crunch, which I think would be good for us. The only thing is we get walled out really badly. So, just trying to see what our options are. I think we'll still go for an Earthquake anyway, because if he wants to stay in, he's going to go ahead and swap out. We probably should have predicted that. I mean, it's way too obvious. He's going to go ahead and bring in Sork here, so kind of, again, we should have predicted that, but we didn't. We could have brought in Uxie or Celebi for free, and we probably would have done the work against this Sork here. So we're going to go ahead, go for this Earthquake. That's going to do quite a bit of damage there. Now, we are Choice Scarfs, so unless that Sork is Choice Scarfed as well. Let me quickly check Sork's base speed here for a second. What is Sork's base speed? Because if we're Choice Scarfed, then we should be fine. Because we're base speed 92. This is our base speed. If we go for another Earthquake, what's his base speed? His base speed is 85. So even if he's Choice Scarfed, we should be able to live whatever he... I mean, he doesn't get any access to priority moves, I'm pretty sure. Let me go ahead and check. Does he get access to Mach Punch or anything I'm unaware of? No. No, he doesn't. Okay, so we're just going to go up fire for another Earthquake here. So we'll go ahead and fire off an Earthquake against this Sork here. So I mean that actually worked out better for us than what I would have imagined. So I don't think he expected the Earthquake to do too much damage. that or he expected me to swap out, one or the other, but he's not going to go ahead and swap. He's going to probably bring in the Slowbro now, because Slowbro could probably take the Earthquakes a lot better than the everything else. So he's going to go ahead, take the rocks damage. We're going to go ahead, fire off an Earthquake against the Slowbro. Let's see how much damage this does to each Slowbro. Yeah, that does next to nothing. So now he could probably scare us out here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up, computer. I don't need your business. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into this. We can do this one of two ways. I'm going to go ahead and swap into, I would say, the Celebi. But if he has Ice Beam, that could be pretty problematic. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Celebi, expecting him to either go for Scald, which I mean, against the Celebi wouldn't matter, because if he gets the burn, I can just go ahead and Natural Cure swap out. So we did take the Spikes damage. He's going to go ahead, he predicted us, goes for the Ice Beam. Oh, no. Okay, that's pretty bad there. So let's go ahead now. Okay, one of two things is going to happen from here. He's either going to swap back into the Magneton, he's going to swap the Clefty. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Giga Drain here. If we can do the work here, I mean, at this point, Magneton is really the only one, Magneton and Klefki are the only ones that can really handle a Celebi right now. I would go for Earth Power, but I just don't know. Like, I need some health. So, probably could have gone for Earth Power, probably, because I mean, Earth Power takes care of 3 of his Pokemon. I actually just looked at that now. He's probably debating whether he's going to sack off the Sork or he's going to go ahead and let this go. One or the other. But he's also going to try to scout to see what kind of set the Celebi is. That's the other thing as well. So I mean, props to him for going for Ice Beam, which was going to hit everything, which I mean was fantastic. We go ahead and go for the Giga Drain here, and we almost get the kill. Wow! Oh no, we might not live this next one. After Life Orb damage, we may not live the next Ice Beam. So he's going to go ahead, fire off the Ice Beam right here, and that is more likely going to kill. No, it doesn't! Oh boy. Okay, so more likely he's going to swap. I mean, it's inevitable he's going to swap. So I'm going to go ahead, fire off an Earth Power, predicting him to swap into either Magneton or the Klefki. So he goes ahead, swaps out. He's probably going to go into Sork. No, he goes into Magneton. That works out for us because we've gone for the Earth Power. So prediction games right here. We go for the Earth Power, and we can take out that Magneton. That is fantastic. Woo! Okay, so unfortunately we lose Celebi to the Life Orb, but we got rid of Magneton, which is actually not too bad because, again, now it just brings it to the fact that now we can go ahead, bring in Krookodile, and we can go for a Scarf Sweep. Because now Slowbro is low enough that two Earthquakes should be able to get the kill on it, which actually does work for us now because now we can bring in the Krookodile and we can go for the Scarf Sweep, which is fantastic. But we got rid of Magneton. I mean, the Slowbro is weakened, so I mean, that works out for us pretty well. So we can go for some Earthquakes. The only thing that's going to be a bit of a damper is the fact that if the Klefki can live at least one Earthquake, which I don't think it can, but if it has some defensive bulk into it, there's a chance that it can. So he's really taking his time thinking about this because he probably knows that I'm going to probably bring the Krookodile, and the Slowbro is very low. If he brings in Slowbro now, it'll actually be pretty bad for us. He brings in Kakis, which is the Klefki. So that actually works out for us very well then. So we take some Spikes damage, he's going to go ahead and take that damage there. So we're going to go ahead now, fire off an Earthquake. And I think now we should be primed to go ahead and go for that Earthquake sweep. He's going to Magnetize. Oh, for the love of God, I forgot about this. Oh. I completely forgot about this. Wow, okay. Well, I could... You know what's funny? Vern actually told me about this Magnetize bullshit. Oh my god. Okay, so now we're forced to swap. We're going to go ahead and swap into Suicune now, because I think at this point, Magnetize. Fuck, I completely forgot about that. Shit. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and bring back in Suicune. Going to take some Spikes damage. More likely he's going to go for the Dazzle Gleam here. The Spikes damage does stack up here. He does get the pressure on. He's going to go ahead and he gets paralyzed, so that works out for us pretty well. So we're going to see leftovers. I'm just trying to think what... Okay, we're going to go ahead and fire for Skull. I think that's definitely the first thing we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and fire for Skull. If he goes ahead and swaps into the Slowbro now, I'm going to laugh my ass off, but he's not going to. So we go ahead and fire off the Skull here, and it's going to do some damage, and he's going to go for a Dazzle Gleam. He's going to get a kill on the Suicune here. So this is getting a little bit bad now because we are now running out of options for this here. So you see the leftovers going there. Yeah, this is actually not. This is not going good. This is not going good at all. I'll go ahead and bring in Uxie now. Uxie can still do a bit of work against the Klefki, because I mean it does have the leftovers. We can keep going for fire punches and just trying to rely on something else. So he's going to get paralyzed there, so I don't know what he was trying to do there. Keep going for fire punches. If we can keep firing some fire punches here, that actually might work out very well for us. So super effective, see leftovers. So at this point, it looks like the fire punches are going to be it looks like a 2-hit KO. Now, the Tyranta is burnt, so I'm very happy that it's burnt. He might try to set up the sand again, which I mean would be fine. But he's just trying to just work. So he's going to go ahead and swap out. More likely he's going to bring in the Tyranta. He's going to bring back in the Slowbro. So he's just trying to get the Regenerator recovery off it there. So he gets the rocks damage there. We're going to go for a fire punch and do a little bit of damage there. Well, after we get the burn. So we're going to go ahead. I feel like we're going to go for... He's just going to go for a swap back into Klefki just to get the Regenerator recovery off. So we got to play this safely because he's going to stay in actually. Okay, that's actually a little bit weird. I was expecting him. He's going to go for a Shadow Ball here, which shouldn't do too much damage at this range. So super effective. We reveal leftovers, and I'm surprised he stayed in there. I probably should have gone for U-turn. If I went for U-turn, I probably would have get the kill. I'm going to go ahead and fire for U-turn now. Maybe he doesn't expect me to have U-turn. If we can go ahead and get this U-turn off, we should be good to go. But like I said, the Klefki though is just going to be the biggest bitch though with that Magnet Rise. So I'm going to go ahead and fire for U-turn and just pray and pray with everything in my power that the Slowbro does stay in. I mean, unless he's... I mean, we're going to keep going for fire punches at this point. He might be expecting me to do that. He's just probably going to swap out now, which would be terrible if he does. Which would be terrible. But then again, if he does, we get initiative, we can swap into Krookodile and then go for Earthquake. And then, if he brings a Tyranta, we go for Earthquake, we get the Moxie boost. The only shit thing is if he brings in Klefki, because then if he gets the Magnet Rise, then I'm fucked. Completely fucked. So now he's just deciding whether it's worth staying in, or if he's going to go ahead. He's going to swap out, probably should have gone for the Fire Punch. He's going to go ahead, bring in Tyranta, which, like I said, it still works out for us okay at this point. Because then we swap into the Tyranta, we swap into the Klefki. Fuck the Klefki. We swap into Krookodile to go ahead and get the Earthquake off, which from this range should get the kill on this, oh, hold on, I'm just thinking here. Is it in my best interest to start setting up with the Sableye? Ooh, actually, that's a good idea. That's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. Now that I think about it, that is actually a good idea. Because if I bring a Mega Sableye, he brings in the Klefki, and then... no, it doesn't matter. I want to go ahead and bring in the Krookodile. I know I probably should have done the Mega Sableye, but I couldn't just risk it going for something else. So... we're going to go ahead and fire off an Earthquake. Now, even though I know this is going to be kind of bad, because if he brings in the Klefki after I kill the Tyranta, if he doesn't get paralyzed in the first turn, we're good. Really, the only thing that's going to help us win this game is the paralysis on the Tyranta here. So I'm going to go ahead, fire off the Earthquake here, and I mean, he could even swap into Slowbro, but I don't know if Slowbro can take 2 Earthquakes after Rock's damage after Regenerator, because I mean, it was down to the red. Unless he just does a double swap just to get regenerated, but that doesn't seem pretty useful considering that his last 2 Pokemon are weak to Earthquake. So we're going to go ahead and fire up an Earthquake against this Tyranta. Will it get the kill on Tyranta? It will do so, thank you. Alright, so we go ahead and get the kill on Tyranta. So now it comes down to, as I said, if he goes for the Magnet Rise or anything else. So I'm debating whether it's in my interest to go ahead and risk the game on a... I mean, it's not really risking anything. I mean, it just means I lose a turn. That's all it is. I lose a turn and then Krookodile... you know, I'm going to go for it. Just go for an Earthquake. Hopefully he gets paralyzed so he doesn't get the Magnet Rise off. If he does get the Magnet Rise... he did get the paralysis! Yes! That's what I'm talking about right there! That's the risks you got to take in this game! Yes! That is exactly what I was talking about! The paralysis that stopped him from going for Magnet Rise. Let's go! And we're going to get that Moxie boost now. The Slowbro will more likely go down to the Earthquake. You have to take the risk, people. You got to take the risk, especially at this point in the game here when wins really do matter. Unfortunate that he did get the paralysis though, because more than likely he would have gone ahead and definitely gone ahead to go and take the damage there. We're going to go ahead and fire off another Earthquake here. Unfortunately, like I said, that the Klefki did get paralyzed on the Magnarize there. We're going to go ahead and fire off another Earthquake, and that's going to get the kill on the Sorg. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have another Krookodile sweep right here. Lovely, lovely, lovely done. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Paralysis for the win, people. Oh my goodness, people. It is insane. It is absolutely insane. So now we're at a +3 Earthquake. Now we should probably get the kill on this. I'll be very surprised if we don't. But at this point, it looks like we will get the kill. So we go ahead and fire off an Earthquake on the Slowbro here. And the Slowbro goes down. And we win this game by 3-0. So good game to the Oregon Duckletts there. Like I said, really unfortunate that I actually forgot he still had the Sork there. Which I mean would have been, it doesn't really impact anything because I still had the Mega Sableye and the Uxie. It was just that Magnarize that was going to stop the sweep from coming through. But unfortunately for my opponent, the paralysis did come through and we did get the victory. So now we stand at 5-5. Like I said, very unfortunate, but it is part of the game. So, I mean, I remember I got salty against someone in Season 1 when they Icicle Crash flinched me for the game. And I guess this is kind of, I know how you feel kind of situation. So, like I said, good game to the Oregon Duckletts. Next week we take on the Jersey Dwellers for the rematch. And I'm a little bit scared because he seems pretty angry considering that we won because he didn't bring Fortress. But we'll see how we go next week. So, until the next time I see you guys, stay safe, stay sharp, and I will catch you guys all next time. Later.